Some say ghosts are just echoes of the past. But what if those echoes can see us too? Tonight, we're diving into 10 terrifying true ghost stories, each one documented, witnessed, and impossible to forget. Turn off the lights and listen closely, because once you start, you might not want to be alone. Dear David, it all began with a few strange dreams. Adam Ellis, an artist from New York, started tweeting about a ghost haunting his apartment, a child with a dented head he called Dear David. At first, it was just whispers and noises at night. But soon, his cats began staring at the same spot by the door every night at midnight. Then came the photos. Shadows moved on their own. A green chair rocked back and forth. One night, Adam set up a camera while he slept, and in the photos, the small figure of a boy appeared beside his bed. The internet went wild. Was it a hoax? A ghost? No one knows. But after he moved away, followers say they still see Dear David lurking in reflections in Adam's newer photos. The Demon House of Gary, Indiana. In 2011, Latoya Ammons moved her family into a modest home in Gary, Indiana. Within days, black flies swarmed their windows, in the middle of winter. Footsteps echoed in empty rooms. Wet footprints appeared on the floor. Then things got darker. Her children began levitating, growling in voices that weren't their own. A local priest was called in. Even police officers refused to enter the home after witnessing objects moving by themselves. When ghost hunter Zach Bagans bought the house for investigation, he demolished it soon after, claiming what he saw there changed him forever. A home so haunted, they had to tear it down. The Perron family, the true conjuring story. In the 1970s, the Perron family moved into a farmhouse in Rhode Island, the same one that inspired The Conjuring. From the first night, they knew something was wrong. Rooms disappeared, doors slammed on their own. At 5:15 every morning, the smell of rotting flesh filled the air. The mother, Carolyn, believed the house was cursed by the spirit of Bathsheba Sherman, a woman rumored to have sacrificed her baby to the devil. The haunting became so violent that Ed and Lorraine Warren, famous paranormal investigators, were called in. The parents eventually fled, but Carolyn said the house still calls to her in her dreams. The Smurl haunting. Jack and Janet Smurl thought they found a dream home in Pennsylvania, until they started hearing screams through the walls. Objects vanished, scratches appeared on their arms, and a dark shadow figure began stalking them from room to room. The attacks escalated. One night, Jack woke up pinned to the bed, a whisper hissing his name in his ear. When the Warrens came to investigate, they claimed the family was under demonic assault. The house was exorcised, but the Smurls swore the evil followed them even after they moved. The Gray Man of Pawleys Island. Along the quiet shores of South Carolina, people tell the legend of the Gray Man, a ghost who appears right before deadly storms. Locals say he was a young man traveling home to his fiancée when he drowned in the marshes long ago. Since then, his misty grey figure appears on the beach, silently pointing toward the ocean, warning those who see him to flee. Every time he's spotted, a hurricane follows, and the homes of those who saw him are mysteriously spared from destruction. Whether spirit or omen, the Grey Man always comes before the storm. The White Lady of Glastonbury. In an ancient English inn stands the spirit of the White Lady, pale, silent, and forever wandering the halls. Guests at the George and Pilgrim Hotel claim to hear soft weeping in the dead of night. Some wait to find her standing at the foot of their bed, eyes hollow, gown dripping with what looks like water. When they blink, she's gone. No one knows who she was, a lost bride, a murdered lover, or something older. But her cries echo down the corridor, long after the last candle burns out. Jerusha House Room, the Wayside Inn. At the old Wayside Inn in Massachusetts, there's one room the staff warn guests not to stay in overnight, Jerusha House Room. Jerusha was said to have died of a broken heart after her lover never returned from sea. Now, visitors who stay in her room hear gentle footsteps pacing at midnight, or feel the touch of a cold hand brushing their cheek. Sometimes, the door locks itself from the inside, with no one there. Many leave in the middle of the night, whispering they heard a woman softly humming by the window. The Villisca Axe Murder House, Iowa. In 1912, a quiet home in Villisca, Iowa, became the scene of one of the most brutal murders in American history. 8 people, 6 of them children, were found bludgeoned to death with an axe. The killer was never caught. Since then, visitors claim to hear children whispering their names, doors creaking open on their own, and footsteps echoing across the wooden floors. Ghost hunters who've stayed overnight report seeing shadowy figures and hearing the sound of an axe dragging across the floorboards. The Lizzie Borden House, Massachusetts. In 1892, Lizzie Borden was accused of murdering her father and stepmother with an axe inside their Fall River home. She was acquitted, but many believe her spirit never left. Today, the house is a bed and breakfast where guests claim to hear disembodied laughter, thuds from the attic, and a woman's voice softly singing in empty rooms. Some have even reported seeing Lizzie herself, standing at the top of the stairs, holding an axe. The Myrtles Plantation, Louisiana, built in 1796, this southern mansion is said to sit on top of an ancient burial ground. The most famous ghost is Chloe, a slave girl who was allegedly poisoned and now wanders the halls wearing a green turban. Guests often report seeing her reflection in mirrors, hearing children crying in empty rooms, and smelling perfume when no one's there. Many believe the Myrtles Plantation is one of the most haunted houses in America. The Bell Witch, Tennessee. In the early 1800s, the Bell family of Adams, Tennessee, was tormented by an unseen force that scratched, slapped, and whispered threats in the dark. The entity, known as the Bell Witch, spoke out loud, threw objects, and even predicted deaths. The haunting ended after the mysterious death of John Bell, the family patriarch, and some say the witch poisoned him. To this day, locals avoid the nearby cave said to be her home, fearing the Bell Witch still dwells within. The Whaley House, California, located in San Diego, the Whaley House is considered one of the most haunted places in the US. It was built over a former gallows site, where criminals were hanged before the home was constructed. Visitors claim to see the ghost of Thomas Whaley, dressed in a top hat, and hear his daughter Violet crying upstairs. Others hear heavy boots stomping on the staircase and the faint smell of cigar smoke lingering in empty rooms. The Whaley House, California, located in San Diego, the Whaley House is considered one of the most haunted places in the US. It was built over a former gallows site, where criminals were hanged before the home was constructed. Visitors claim to see the ghost of Thomas Whaley, dressed in a top hat, and hear his daughter Violet crying upstairs. Others hear heavy boots stomping on the staircase and the faint smell of cigar smoke lingering in empty rooms. The Queen's ghost at Ailani Palace, Hawaii, the last reigning monarch of Hawaii, Queen Liliuokalani, was imprisoned in her palace after being overthrown in 1893. Even after her death, guards and visitors have reported her spirit walking the halls of Ailani Palace. Late at night, footsteps echoed through locked corridors, and the faint sound of her singing can be heard, the same songs she wrote while in captivity. Many say she still guards her home, protecting it from those who disrespected her legacy. The haunted toy telephone, England. In the 1980s, a family in Manchester moved into a new house, where the young son found an old toy telephone with a smiling face. At first, it was harmless fun, until the phone started ringing by itself. Sometimes it would roll across the floor on its own. One night, the boy answered it, and began talking to the little girl no one else could see. After they got rid of the toy, the disturbances stopped. But years later, the same toy was found in the attic, and it rang again. The Stratford Poltergeist, United Kingdom. A family in Stratford-upon-Avon reported years of strange activity in their home. Knocks on the walls, footsteps following them, pictures falling, doors slamming, and whispers that grew louder every night. They said the ghost targeted the daughter most, pulling her hair, calling her name, even scratching her while she slept. When they moved out, the haunting stopped, but the next family who moved in said it started all over again. The Chained Man of Athens, ancient Greece. This story dates back nearly 2,000 years. A philosopher named Athenagoras rented an abandoned house in Athens after hearing rumors it was haunted by a man in chains. That night, he saw the apparition, pale, thin, and bound in heavy shackles. The ghost beckoned him to follow. At dawn, Athenagoras marked the spot where the spirit vanished. When workers dug there, they found a human skeleton, still chained. After the remains were buried properly, the ghost was never seen again. The Amityville Horror, New York. In 1974, the DeFeo family was murdered inside their home in Amityville, New York. A year later, the Lutz family moved in and lasted only 28 days. They reported voices, glowing eyes in the dark, green slime oozing from the walls, and a cold, oppressive feeling that grew stronger each day. When they fled, they left everything behind: furniture, clothes, even food still on the table. To this day, people debate whether it was real or fabricated. But those who visit the house say the air still feels heavy, like the walls remember. Gravity Hill, California. In Sylmar, California, there's a strange stretch of road locals call Gravity Hill. If you park your car on the base of the slope and put it in neutral, it seems to roll up. According to legend, a school bus full of children was hit there decades ago. Now, the spirits of those children are said to push cars away from danger. Drivers report hearing faint laughter or finding tiny handprints in the dust on their bumpers. Scientists call it an optical illusion. Believers call it proof that some ghosts never stop trying to save lives. Sweetwater Mansion, Alabama. Sweetwater Mansion is beautiful by day and terrifying by night. Built in 1835, the house holds the secrets of generations. Visitors report doors slamming shut, voices whispering their names, and mirrors fogging up with words written by invisible hands. During a 1980s restoration, workers found a hidden room with a coffin inside. Since then, those who've entered the mansion say they feel watched, followed, even touched. Whatever is inside that room doesn't want to be disturbed. The Ghost Train of St. Louis, Saskatchewan. In a small Canadian town, an abandoned railway runs through the woods. Locals say if you stand on the tracks at night, you'll see a glowing light in the distance, like a train's headlamp moving closer. But the tracks were torn up years ago. The light sways, flickers, and then rushes past, leaving the smell of metal and smoke behind. Scientists tried to explain it as car headlights or atmospheric gas, but those who've seen it swear they hear the whistle of a long-gone locomotive and the sound of grinding steel. The train may be gone, but it's still on schedule. From haunted homes to restless spirits, these are the true stories that blur the line between life and death. Maybe they're warnings, maybe they're memories that refuse to fade. But one thing's certain, the dead aren't as silent as we think.